Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome back to Bookmas! Guys, how are you doing? How's everyone doing? How's everybody liking Bookmas so far? I thought I'd switch up the locations. Usually I always sit at my desk, but today we're switching it up. We're doing like a new background, which is literally just my bed. You know, I had a presentation today in university. It was kind of meh. I just feel very drained from all of the work that I have to do for university at the moment. And so I thought it would be nice to maybe just do a chill video for once where I answer you guys' questions. I've never done a Q&A before in the history of my channel. We're also in the bed because I have to charge my phone. I actually asked you guys on my Instagram at honestlysophieYT, if you want to follow me, if you had some questions for me, preferably bookish of course, because this is Bookmas. I just want to talk about myself only. Also, you know, but not just myself. And people actually sent me questions, which I'm so thankful for because I was afraid that nobody would send me a question. I was like, I don't know if I should ask, because what if nobody asked me anything? Then that would be kind of embarrassing. So I haven't really looked at them yet, at the questions. We'll just look together. So, let's just get started. Quick and easy, fun video, and you guys get to know some more things about me. I hope you're interested at all. I get self-conscious. Also, I want to give a shout out to all of my members. Thank you so much for joining the Book Hater Club. My members get early access to all of my videos. They get a shout out in my video. They get exclusive content like my Ruby Red commentary, movie commentary, and they also get to pick my next reads. And of course for Bookmas, they're seeing all of the Bookmas videos a day early too, which I hope is super fun. So we had one person on Instagram, thankfully, that asked multiple questions. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I don't even know if it would be like enough questions otherwise. The first question is, what are you studying in university? That's not book related, but that's fine. I do marketing. Yeah, I do marketing. People always say, oh, that's so good that you do YouTube and then you study marketing. You learn so much on how to promote your channel. But I truly don't. God forbid I know what's going on in university, you know what I mean? Like, I have no clue. And so just today I was holding a presentation. No idea how it went. I'm really drained from it. I studied industrial engineering for 2 semesters before that. My industrial engineering era was a flop and I was exmatrikuliert. But now we're doing marketing and I'm in my 4th semester and I think I'm gonna do around 8 semesters. I'm probably gonna take a year longer than you normally do, but I'm also just chilling. I like university, even though I complain about it. Like, I like not having to go to a full-time job. Another question by the same person, they asked, has an author ever reached out to you after your review? No. Thankfully, no one's ever reached out to me. Not that I know of. I mean, honestly, the authors that I review, they get a lot of traction and they have so many people reading their books normally. Like, I don't read anything that's like underground, you know? And so they don't really notice, I think, when I do a random review about them. They don't really care, I hope. Because like, they can be like, okay, whatever. The only person I've ever had an interaction with was Alex Astor, guys, and I never told you guys this. Maybe I did in my first Bookmas video. Maybe I mentioned it there when I'm talking about Nightbane. Commented on her TikTok and one of her videos and she replied back to me. So that was the only author interaction that I ever had with Alex Astor, my arch nemesis, the author of Lightlark. They also asked any books that you are excited for, and no. For reading and reviewing, there's not necessarily anything that I'm excited for. But in the end of January, I think on the 30th, the 3rd Crescent City book releases, and I think that's something I'm excited for. That's like, if I had to name one singular book that I'm excited for, it would be that one. Just because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Go read all of the books by Sarah J. Maas. Not because I'm recommending Sarah J. Maas to you. I would never recommend an author. No! But just so you can watch my review when it comes out. And then the last question by this person. Thank you for asking me 4 questions. Love you. Favorite TV show and movie. I don't have a favorite TV show. I don't have a comfort show. There's nothing that I go back to rewatch show-wise. I don't even know the last TV show that I watched. Because usually I just watch like all of the episodes that are out in like one sitting, you know? I'm really bad with shows. My favorite movie, however, I can tell you that one. It's Howl's Moving Castle. I love Howl's Moving Castle with all my heart, not just because the main character is called Sophie. I love Studio Ghibli movies and the new one is coming out, I think, in January for Germany. And I've already told my boyfriend as a birthday present, my birthday is on January 3rd, I want to go. I think it comes out on January 4th actually. I told him, or 2nd or something, I don't know. I think on 4th because that's a Thursday. Movies always release on Thursdays in Germany. I don't know if that's a worldwide thing actually. I told him that's my birthday wish, that we go see that movie together in the cinema, because I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie in the cinema. Only ever on TV when I was a child, and now obviously on Netflix and stuff. And I love Howl's Moving Castle so much. Top 3 worst reads this year. Also unrelated, but you should totally do another tier ranking video at the end of the year. I'm doing that. I'm doing a tier ranking video as a separate video. It's not going to be part of Bookmas, but because I want to include all of the books that I read this year, and during Bookmas I also want to be reading, and so that's definitely coming maybe as the last video of the year, even like on the 31st or something. No, but at the very end of December I'm going to do a ranking video, definitely with all of the books I read this year. And so I can't even tell you top 3 worst reads this year because that would also spoil the ranking video, but just off the top of my head I don't even know what books I read this year. And then of course the age-old question, I always get this under my reviews, pretty much under every review somebody asks me this, and every video I'll make, and I understand why. What's your favorite books, and also like your top 3 books? Or people will say, what books do you like then if you hate everything? Genuinely guys, I cannot give you an answer to that. I don't have any top book. I enjoy reading the books and ranting about them. I find joy in that. So sometimes I don't. If the book is particularly bad and I like lose my mind over it, I don't really have an example right now, maybe like Crave or something. No, Crave was funny. What was like boring bad? I always talk about funny bad and boring bad. I don't even remember. Then that's just infuriating when I have to read a boring bad book, you know? Then I actually get mad, then I'm actually angry, but when it's funny, I kind of find fun in that, when I can read like a funny bad book and then sit down for you guys and critique it. As for top books, I honestly have to say, I love Echo Moth. I did a review on it even, I reread it. I think that was this year too. Maybe it was last year. Guys, time just blurs together. I just have a like emotional connection to Echo Moth because I read it when it released and I was 15 years old and I read that and I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever read in my life. But I don't really stand by that now. I will let you guys know when I find a good book. Genuinely, if I read a book and I was like, wow, this slaps, I wouldn't just try to hate on it just to keep the brand up. I would tell you guys, and whenever I read bad books and I find something enjoyable about them, or oh my god, the German. Oh, I think something is well done, then I also let you guys know, and so if I find one, I'll tell you. Maybe we can make that a goal for 2024, to find a book that I like. What's the absolute worst book you've ever read? It's so hard to scale things because books are so bad in different ways. As I just said, we have the funny bad, we have the boring bad, and then there's also just like different forms of bad where it's like the writing is bad, or the characters are poorly done, or the world building is bad, and then other aspects about it are good. I think if I had to name one just that came to mind off the top of my head, it would be the Zodiac Academy. I don't understand how that series has so many fans, and I was looking at the Goodreads nominees for this year, and the 8th book in that series is actually nominated for Best Fantasy, and I could not believe my eyes. But I think that would be the book that comes to the top of my head first, because that was truly like, I'm still confused. Have you seen or read the, how do you say that in English? Ballad? The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I've never read it, even though I read The Hunger Games. I was obsessed with it. I have a podcast episode where I think, am I writing this in the podcast episode? I don't remember actually. Maybe I am. Full circle. I didn't even do it intentionally. I loved The Hunger Games when I was younger. I wrote my own fan fiction. And then when the prequel came out in 2020, I don't even know if I had my channel yet, I had like no urge to read that for some reason. I was like, I do not give 2 flying fucks about snow. But I have watched the movie. I watched it on the release weekend and I loved it. And I am planning on maybe doing a reread for The Hunger Games because I only ever read them once in German when I was 12. And I thought like now 10 years later it might be a good time for me to reread those books and see if I still love them. Did you guys watch it yet? Did you guys love it? You let me know. You let me know about all of these questions. You can answer them too. Can you read Poppy War? Everyone loves that book and I feel like the crazy one for hating it, especially the, what is FL? Female lead. I have the Poppy War on my TBR. I actually have the physical book. I also have Babel, right? I already read so slowly the bad books that I read. And then if I read like the Poppy War Babel, I think that would take me like months to finish. And then you guys would not see me again. But it's definitely on the TBR. It's definitely coming. Maybe even next year I can put it on the planner for next year for you guys if you're interested. Because I've had several people ask me now if I can read it. And I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared because I know she has a lot of fans. Do you have hope that any of the popular TikTok books will actually be good? No. Maybe the Poppy War will be good. That's a popular book, or Babel, but I just don't know. I'm scared. You know what I mean? I just don't have any hope because there's so much talk at the moment about BookTok and how it's changing the publishing industry. And who said it first? I did a whole podcast episode about the publishing industry and how it's changing, and now people are coming out of their little holes, and saying, oh, the publishing industry is changing. I said it first. How are your Japanese classes going, and top 3 worst and best books? I answered the best and worst already. As for my Japanese classes, I'm slaying them. Don't even worry about me. That's so nice that you ask about Japanese. It's going great, actually. Like, genuinely, it's a beginner's class and we're just learning the basics. And should I spoil you guys? I'm going to be filming a book haul video. First package came in today and I already opened it. I wanted to open it on camera, but then I remembered that I ordered myself a Japanese book, and so I already opened it. My teacher is so sweet. She's so funny. It's like this middle-aged Japanese woman, and I have, I think, 2 more classes, and then at the end of December I'm taking a test to get a certificate that I'm officially an A1 Japanese speaker. And so in preparation I got this little book. This is just a grammar. So book haul video is coming, guys. Be excited. I had someone ask, what are you gonna do when you reach 1 million subs? Thanks. Because it says when you reach 1 million subs. Like, it's definitely gonna happen. Like, it's not an if thing. If you reach 1 million, it's I am gonna have 1 million subs. Let me get somewhere else first. I actually just got 3,000 subscribers the other day, which I'm so flabbergasted about because I got like 500 in the time from me uploading my Iron Flame review. So many new people came to the channel, and it's always so crazy to see how much traction a video like that gets your channel. Like 500 people decided to click subscribe. Thanks. If you're one of those people, you know who you are. Shout out, peace and love. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I reach 1 million subs. Probably like retire. And then the last question that I have from Instagram is, what is a genre that you will never read? I know damn well what genre I will never read, and that is fucking horror. I'm not opposed to reading a thriller. Verity review is coming. And I don't even know how you can get scared from a book. That's like no shade at all, but when people are like, I read a Stephen King novel and I was so scared reading that, I'm always like, horror is something I would never read. I don't even know, like, I would read everything else. Historical, I would read. Non-fiction, if I have to, I would read. Thriller, and then romance and fantasy and sci-fi, I already read those books. So that's the only one I can think of right now. Maybe there's like more subgenres that I'm just not thinking of right now, but horror is truly like something that I just you could not get me to read that. You could also not get me to care about that. I don't know, do you guys read fucking horror books? Like, peace and love if you do, but like, what's the appeal about that? You know what I mean? I just hate horror movies too. I get scared actually very easily, but I just can't imagine myself getting scared by a book. By fucking words on a paper. Those were all the questions I got from Instagram. Thank you so much to everyone who asked me a question and made this video possible for me. I had someone comment under my podcast episode, ideas for bookmas, and I don't think that these topics will be enough for me to make like a whole video on them, so I'm just gonna answer them as questions. Talk about your book character crushes from when you were younger and if the type of character you're into has changed. I don't even know like how much younger do you mean, but when I was 14 I was reading all of the popular series, and so I was also into all of the general, or not general, but like all of the basic men in those series. I loved Reese and Cassian. Cassian was, I would die for Cassian, and when I was 14 I would have died for him, but now I would kill him. I loved, who else did I love? What did I read? Finnick. I was obsessed with Finnick. I don't even know who else I was obsessed with, if being honest. Like, good question, but like, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. That's so embarrassing. I don't know if the type of character I'm into has changed just because I haven't found a character that I like in so long. But I'll let you know when I find them. I'll let you know. Talk more about the Hunger Games fanfic you wrote and fanfiction in general. That's actually a good idea. But I think that would be more of like a podcast topic. I mean, there's nothing else to say about my Hunger Games fanfiction, guys. There's nothing else to say. I wrote multiple different ones, but they are gone. I also wrote a Harry Styles fanfiction once, and I think that I want to make a podcast episode about Wattpad and fanfiction culture. I've already thought about that before, and in that I would also reveal my Harry Styles fanfiction to you guys. I would be willing to read that out to you. It's only like 2 chapters, and it was very much like I'm being sold to one direction, more specifically Harry Styles. Of course, the rank/tier list is coming. I think I've said it like 3 times in this video already. I hope you guys have put it in your calendar. End of December, Sophie tier ranking. And then maybe the last one that I'm gonna answer is guilty pleasure reads. What bad media do you enjoy? So there's like 2 in 1 guilty pleasure reads. I don't really have a guilty pleasure read because I don't, you know, you guys know what I read. I tell you about everything. The one thing that I do watch, and I have to admit to this, is I watch reality TV. of course, and I only watch German reality TV, and there is a lot of different formats in Germany. There's a lot of course, different type of tea, and that's something that I got into this year, actually. Like in the summer of this year, I started watching reality TV, and I have, like, my friends watch it too. I can talk to them about it, which is great that I have like someone in real life that I can talk to about it. But it's kind of embarrassing, and my boyfriend doesn't make fun of me for watching it. So that's the only guilty pleasure media that I consume, because nothing else, like, or like guilty pleasure, I don't even know if I feel guilty watching it. I just feel happy. Thank you so much for these questions. They did help me. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who participated in this. Maybe I'll do one again next year, just to see what changed. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a different one, a little bit of a short one, just a little bit of a chatty one, if you will. Let me know how you're enjoying Bookmas so far. If you agree with my answers, if you don't agree, what your answers would be. I'm always happy to see people comment their own things. I love reading about your guys' answers, and like in podcasts when I do like discussions, I love reading what people have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I think I've said this now 3 times already. I hope you're loving Bookmas. I'm insecure about Bookmas, guys. Tell me that you're absolutely rocking with it. That you're going like this when you see my video. Or like this. Or like this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you stay happy, you stay healthy. Peace and love. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.